Much of the world woke up today to the news of Time Warner having rejected a takeover offer from Rupert Murdoch's 21st Century Fox. The question now is, will Rupert Murdoch press on to take over Time Warner in a deal that could change the media landscape? Let's ask former NBC Universal Chief Executive and Chairman Bob Wright. He is also the co-founder of Autism Speaks. He joins us from Nantucket, Massachusetts. All right, Bob Wright, so is this a deal that Rupert Murdoch needs to get done?
I think you better hurry because I think the president's coming on to talk about it.
Probably. What do you think this deal is worth to Rupert Murdoch?
Well, I think it's obviously worth a lot because he's offered a great deal, and he's willing to take on, $70-80 billion of debt between the two companies and the purchase price. I think it's a chance, once in a lifetime situation for him. He looks at this and he looks at Disney and he's put these two together and he's got something, maybe like Disney in the sense of market cap of $130 billion. And with interest rates that are never going to be any lower for borrowing than they are now.
Bob Wright, you worked at GM, at NBC. You know what it's like to be at a conglomerate that owns a lot of different parts. Time Warner has just cut off its magazine division into a separately traded company. The Time Warner cable division is being acquired by Comcast. Is this Jeffrey Bewkes' worst nightmare?
No, I don't want to be sarcastic about it, but it's probably his happiest day. This has all been very carefully orchestrated. The shareholders have gotten tons of value. They got the the spin-offs, and he's got a clean sheet here. If the $70 billion, $80 billion for a company that was trading at at the $40 billion level not too long ago. I think this is going to be his highest and biggest moment ever. They clearly intended that somebody would buy it, or at least they would do something like that. So.
Bob Wright, is it possible that Rupert Murdoch hires Jeffrey Bewkes to run the Time Warner business for him?
Well, with Rupert, it's always awkward. I think Chase Carey has been his man for a long time, but Bewkes is a very good executive. So that's pure speculation.
Bob Wright, what about the content deals that have already been done, specifically when it comes to sports? Is that also what Rupert Murdoch wants?
Well, I think it's certainly complementary. They have put tons of money into sports over the last 20 years, so this would be helpful in that regard. I don't think it's the real reason to do it. I think it's one of the benefits of doing it, and I think it's just one of these things, Pimm, when these opportunities don't come along every day, and he wanted to get out in front before other people started picking around and trying to negotiate deals, and he got his number on the table, like it or not, and it's a very generous offer by any. That stock with that offer is up 35% in the last year.
Bob Wright, you see any other potential competitors coming in and topping the offer?
Well, it's possible, and maybe they'd like to buy some time to allow people to settle in and think about it. Verizon's a possibility. They haven't shown that much interest in pure content. I don't know about Google. I don't know that there are other players that are really anxious. Comcast probably would have been interested. I'm not so sure. They have so much of cable and so much entertainment. The surprising thing to me is that Comcast stock price didn't go up a lot today, because if put these valuations together, NBCU's worth $70 billion.
Bob Wright, whether it's Cinemax, HBO, TBS, or even TNT, those are perhaps properties that Fox would be able to keep. What about CNN?
Well, they've said, I guess, that they would not. That would be a very difficult issue. So they just said they're going to spin it out or sell it. And CBS has always talked about buying it. I don't know that they would want to pay the price, but that's going to go somewhere. That could be independent. So that would be a very happy moment, I think, for Jeff Zucker too.
Bob Wright, what about the play on the internet and people bypassing cable and broadcast completely?
I think this is tricky for them. HBO has a long history in the cable business. They have on demand, which is over the top, but to try to turn it into a Netflix and around the top of its cable operators and everything, that'd be very complex to do that. I'm sure they might want to give it a try. They have about the same number of subscribers, a little less perhaps than Netflix, They're so well established. They are great programmers. That's a tricky proposition, though.
Bob Wright, pulling companies apart, putting them together. If we looked in the Bob Wright kitchen, would there be a GE appliance? What's the future for GE's appliance business?
They hang on to a lot of businesses that have modest returns, but represent some image or issues, and it's hard to say, very hard to say. They have struggled in this bold market. The stock's up a bit, but it's a $27 stock when it used to be, in the 40s and the 50s. So there's still a struggle for them.
Bob Wright, is it a struggle because of all of the interest in a network, in a smart home, controlling your appliances remotely?
Well, I can't answer that. I think the appliance business is a very, very modest participant in GE's net income and its return on assets. So they can do a lot. They can do a lot with that. I don't know that that's a priority.
I want to thank you very much for spending time with me. Bob Wright, he is the former president of GE Financial Services, former NBC Universal chief executive and chairman, and the co-founder of Autism Speaks.